Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome to this week's episode of Tech Talk. I'm your host, Omar Shear, and today, as always, we segment our show into social media, internet business, and we talk briefly in the beginning about an important topic related to the internet. So today is no exception. This week, I wanted to talk about education online. You say, well, that seems kind of general, and it is very general. But people have taken the opportunity to use the internet for educational purposes, and there are many tools to help educators establish themselves online and teach online. This we call e-learning, and we also call it distance learning. Now, there are many examples of this, and in some cases, it can be automated, meaning that you have maybe a reading selection or something like that, and then you have some type of way to test the person that's consuming the knowledge with some type of quiz or something like this, and all of this is automated. Well, that's been around for quite some time, but in recent years, we've had the ability now to do something called virtual classrooms. It means that the teacher is live and the students are live, and the teacher can teach and the students can ask questions live. And you have a whiteboard that's there on your computer, and the teacher has tools like pens and different shapes and different graphs and things like this to explain the lesson. So it's become more than just, let's say, an audio Skype or Yahoo Messenger type of class. It's become an actual interactive class. Now, I want to make you familiar with some of the popular tools that are available for e-learning. So if you're the type of person that you feel that you have something that you would like to teach online, no matter what it is, you have some tools available for you, some of which are free and some of which cost a bit of money. But from the free tools you have, one of the most popular tools is a system called Moodle. And you can get more information on Moodle at moodle.org. But what does Moodle allow you to do? Moodle actually allows you to make a complete course, and not just one course, many courses online. So what is a course online? It gives you the ability to display different types of resources like web pages and videos and audio and on and on. And then it also gives you an interactive element, which are the activities that you can allow the students to partake in. Like, for example, you can give quizzes, and you can give homework assignments, and you can give essays and different types of interactive activities to test the knowledge of the student that is in your course. Also, you can enroll as many students as you like, and you can even have as co-teachers or different types of help, if you want to say, to help you establish your course and make sure that it is an effective course. Now, Moodle, the Moodle system has a hierarchy of different roles that can be there. So it's not that you can use it for as simple as a course that you're providing, or you can use it on a bigger level, which could be a university level. A whole entire university can use a Moodle system for their online courses. Now, one thing that's great about Moodle is it's open source. And what does open source mean? Open source means, from a practical standpoint, open source means that there are developers around the world that are working together to make sure that you get the best experience from this software. Not only that, it allows people to take the code from the programs and modify it for their particular usage. So open source, there are many open source programs, and open source has been a great benefit to many of us online and many developers and web designers. It has given us the opportunity to take things that are pre-built, that are tested, real life tested, and make those things our own, and even sell them as our own, or even help organizations build robust websites at a very minimal fee. Now, also, I mentioned earlier virtual classrooms. Now, these virtual classrooms are available on websites such as WizIQ. WizIQ is a very popular website that offers you the opportunity to create a virtual classroom. And last time I checked, you do get a free trial. So you can try it out and see if it's something that's for you. If it's not for you, then you don't have to use it. You can use other means that are not related necessarily to virtual classroom, but can be used in a similar way, which are Skype, for example. You can use Skype to communicate with your students, and then also you can share your screen and give presentations. So it makes a similar effect like a WizIQ would, but it's absolutely free. That's Skype. And then also Yahoo Messenger. You can use Yahoo Messenger also as a way to communicate, and even Google Talk. So the options are, I won't say limitless, but you have many options out there for if you wanted to partake in e-learning. Now, later on in the show, we have a very special guest and a very close friend of mine by the name of Dr. Muhammad Khalifa. And Dr. Muhammad Khalifa, he is an assistant professor at the University of Michigan, and he's with us today, and he's going to talk about his project, and I'm very excited about his project. It is very unique, and it is something I believe that many schools can benefit from. And he's also going to talk about e-learning a bit. So inshallah, with no further ado, let's move to the next segment of our show, which is social media. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the social media section of Tech Talk. Now, last week we talked about getting fans for your Facebook page, which of course is very important. I mean, if you have a Facebook page, then quite naturally you would need people to see it, unless you're the type of person that just wants to make a Facebook page and look at it yourself. And that's rare, but maybe that's what you want to do. But generally, people want fans to see their Facebook page. They want interaction on their Facebook page, and that's generally the reason you create it. Now we want to talk about a little more about groups. We didn't go in depth into the group topic, but you have that option to create something in Facebook called a group, which is different from a page and it's different from a profile. Now let's talk about some of the benefits of creating a group. And if any of these benefits strike you as something that you think that you're interested in, then don't hesitate. Get on after the show, get online and play with this thing called Facebook groups. The first thing about Facebook groups is that you can control the membership and the privacy. You can also start and moderate discussions. Another benefit of a Facebook group is that the messages that can be sent to the group members, meaning that when someone posts a new message, it's automatically sent by email to the group members. Also, you can send your own messages to all the group members. Also, you can invite group members to events. You can create events and invite those group members to the events. You can share group files, documents, presentations, and these things, and you can also collaborate on documents as a group. So as you see, there are many benefits to having a group on Facebook. So it's upon you, if you're interested, after this show, get online and start to play with the Facebook groups. Remember, on the home page, you have the options on the sidebar to create the group. So go to the left sidebar and click on Create Group and get started. So after you've done that, tell me about it at techtalk@huda.tv. And now we're going to go right into internet business. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome to this episode section for internet business. Last week we talked about building a website, and we kept it very general, but I think that you got a good idea of how that website should be created. Now we're going to talk about an idea that's very important. And of course, you can always get more details at internetmuslimbusiness.com. And that is the idea of collecting emails. You have to set up some way that you can communicate constantly with people who are interested in what you have to offer. And there are many ways to do this. One in particular is a website called MailChimp.com. That is a free service that allows you to collect emails and send emails out. So I hope you like this tip for this section of Internet Business. And we have a very special guest after the break, Dr. Muhammad Khalifa, and you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned to Tech Talk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back to Tech Talk. And in this segment of Islamic Resources, we have a very special guest, Dr. Muhammad Khalifa, and he's a professor at the University of Michigan.
Michigan State University.
Or Michigan State University, excuse me. Earlier in the program, we talked about e-learning and distance learning. And Dr. Khalifa knows firsthand about this because he practices it and he uses it with his students. And not only that, he has a very special project that he's involved in that he'll talk to us later on in this segment. So welcome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing today?
No,
Alhamdulillah. Tayyib, tell us a little bit about your experience with using e-learning tools to teach your students.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting because in recent years, students have really started to request that. And so I teach a course online and I teach it in person sometime. And the maximum is 30 students in any course at this particular course. And I just finished teaching that course, and I had, I think, 8 or 9, maybe 10 students in there. I'm teaching it this coming semester that starts this month.
That was a live class?
That was a live class.
Okay.
So I'm teaching it now completely online, and the class is filled. It has 30 students. And so, and that's characteristic of online classes. If you were to look at all of the online courses that are being taught, they're all filled. And so students prefer it. There is becoming preferred because you really can there are ways you can maximize learning, and so they get the full student experience, and they don't have to be at a location somewhere. And so there are a number of tools that I personally use to see that this happens. Yeah,
so it's convenient as well.
It's very convenient.
So what tools are you using to teach online?
So there are any number of tools. So for example, there's a place that you can upload assignments, and students can upload their assignments. You can, so for example, papers. I mean, papers are a part of graduate education. So a student would type their paper, and instead of handing me a hard copy of their paper, they would upload it to this learning system, this e-learning system.
Right.
I would then go to this system and get that paper and open it and mark my comments throughout the paper and leave my comments in the paper by tracking the changes in Microsoft Word. Save it, and then upload it, and the student would go see the comments I made and retrieve their grade as well. Right. And so you can put their grades next to the papers. Another thing that I do is in lieu of class discussions, we have blogs and we have discussion boards in which I post a series of questions and students respond to them, and then they respond to each other, and then I come and respond. And it's a very lively exchange, a very in-depth exchange. Sometimes students prefer that as well because some students are very shy, particularly many of our international students who feel that they don't have a strong command of the language.
Right.
They are far more involved in those kind of online discussions because their accents, they're not self-conscious about them and that sort of thing. So
how do you use discussion in blogs towards their grades? Is it like
it's
participation?
Yeah, it's participation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's participation. Absolutely.
Do you use it like for any assignments or anything like that? Or
we can. I've done that in the past. Like if students have struggled with an assignment or something like that, we'll have a discussion around it, and we can all learn from each other. Some students will share what they did. I can upload examples of prior work. I don't like to do that because students tend to copy a bit too much. I mean, imitate a bit too much. But yeah, I can upload copies of work. I have a number of videos that I upload there, and I have students react to the videos. I upload hard to get readings. Most readings, students are required to go to the library to get them so that it can be documented who's reading what. It's very important for scholarship that happen. But some readings are book chapters, and they just don't have the access to the books, or some readings are out of print or whatever. So I just have them PDF'd, and I upload the PDFs there. My videos, I upload there, videos that are difficult to retrieve. One of the documentaries that I was featured in, which is not yet released, I have it there. So I got permission from the producers. I know this is television, but no type of impropriety is going on. But I uploaded that, and they have access to it.
Well, some people may argue that because of the internet, plagiarism has become more widespread. Is there any way that you deal with that?
Well, I teach graduate education. I should have mentioned that. And at that level of education, it's very difficult to. Did you say? Okay. So I thought you were asking about cheating, because one concern I had was, okay, you're not the one responding here, and this isn't your work. Your friend did that for you. Right. But unless your friend has read our readings, and I mean, if you have a friend that is your friend so much that they're going to go and do all the course readings and all the course discussions and then write the paper, there's nothing we can do. But that's very uncommon for somebody to read several books just to help you sneak and write a paper. Plagiarism, on the other hand, is very easy to detect, because we see how, first of all, many of the summons are very specific. Okay, write about this question. Nobody else has written about that, so you can't plagiarize it. But in the event that there are some larger final paper, plagiarism has happened. It happens. Some students don't know they're plagiarizing. Others are careless about citing their references. And it's something that carries a heavy weight. But for us professors, it's very easy to detect, because we can see a clear shift in genre or writing style, number one. Number two, if you suspect that a student is using some type of language or something, I've read a lot of stuff that's out there, so I probably have seen it. And if I suspect it's not, if I Google it, most people don't know that if you go and you Google like a passage, and even if it's not, even if it's in a book, or if it's in an article, it will come up. And so it's very easy to catch that.
So first you would detect that it may be plagiarism, and then you would go to Google and then check, make sure.
Yeah, because remember, I've interacted with the student in discussion boards and smaller assignments, sometimes personal conversations. And so when you come with something that doesn't sound like you, or one part of your paper has a certain type of grammatical error or language usage in it, and all of a sudden I come across this very scholarly sounding piece of the passage in the papers, it's easy. It's not difficult.
Well, let's talk about your project.
Okay.
So tell me what you're doing online as far as.
Okay. Absolutely. I know we don't have much time, but it requires a little bit of background information.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, in the United States of America, certain groups perform better in school than other groups. Okay. So, for example, and certain groups are suspended more than other groups. And so, for example, boys tend to be suspended more than girls. Right? But certain types of boys, whether they may be poor, whether they may be a person of color, or whatever, tend to be suspended more too, or tend to drop out of school more, or tend to perform worse in some courses, in some classes. And so, at this point in American education, schools, teachers, principals, because the data is very, 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 very isolated. I mean, and we can be very specific about, okay, these two teachers who teach English are performing in this way, but this teacher is not. Their students are performing well on this test. And so schools are finally being held accountable for that now. And so that is the impetus for this project that we've started. It's called SchoolEquityProject.com. And one remedy, not the only remedy, but one remedy for these gaps, we call them achievement or discipline gaps, right, what I just described, is to do something that we call an equity audit. So it would be to go and look at data of teachers, testing data, interview data. You go out and you talk to parents. The way that they have been traditionally done is you would go out and talk to parents, you go out and talk to students, you would look at the school data. And so what I'm in the process of developing is an online tool because obviously there are only so many professors like myself available who can go from school to school to school and spend countless hours there in those schools doing equity audits. So this online tool is intended to be a virtual process through which schools can go upload their data. They can direct parents to a certain part of this website and have them upload or type in their interview responses, and the same for teachers and students. They can look at the policies and describe the policies and put everything into this online module. And then it would be much easier for someone like me to look at all of this data in front of them and go and help the school make sense of, number one, what's going on, and number two, what they might need to do in response to some of the things that have been found in the audit. So an equity audit I mean, we're all familiar with the term audit, right. And so that is to go in and to sort of do a widespread census or examination of what's going on.
Right.
And but this one is an equity audit, which means that you're looking for issues of equity, fairness, accessibility, access, social justice, how you can help marginalized groups. And every society has them.
Right.
Every society has some groups that have been marginalized and some groups that have been privileged. So this such a tool can go on. And it will reveal other things as well, such as like, are all the boy students in this teacher's classroom penalized more than the girl students? Is it, in other words, it will help schools identify patterns among their teachers or policies that only target one group of students, okay? Or practices, school level practices. If, you know, at lunchtime, there's a person who tends to pick on a certain type of child, a poor child, or you know, something like that, then such an audit will kind of expose that. Not to necessarily point fingers at teachers, but to help the school improve and improve the lives of children.
Is this something that's restricted to American schools, or could it be applied worldwide?
It's been designed for American schools, but you have to understand that American schools are very different. And I say that because I just have not been in contact with anybody in other countries that have such an interest to do this kind of work. It could very easily be tailored to address that, but it is designed with an American school model in mind. But American schools are very different. You know. Middle schools are very different from high schools.
Right.
There are a different set of policies. There are different reasons why.
Right.
For example, some teachers who might feel that they lack control of their class, or who have certain biases against students in some way or another, might tend to suspend their students for very nefariously defined offenses, or very ill-defined offenses like insubordination. Well, what does that mean? Aggressive behavior. Well, what does that mean? It means whatever the teacher says it means. And so an equity audit will catch and isolate and allow the school leader or a team that's dealing with this issue to say, okay, hold on a second, this is a problem. And we'll give the teacher new and other strategies to deal with some of the issues in classroom management that they may having that they may be having in the classroom. So
Well, Dr. Khalifa, we really appreciate you coming to Tech Talk.
Sure.
And inshallah, we hope to have you again and to give us an update on how things are going with the website. And with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone for viewing this episode of Tech Talk. And inshallah ta'ala, if you want to see us on Facebook, please go to huda.tv/Tech Talk and click on the Facebook icon. If you have any questions or comments, please send those to techtalk@huda.tv. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll see you in the next episode next week, where we'll have another very special guest. You all know him from Huda TV. His name is Omar Du Bois. Inshallah, we'll see you then. And with that, I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.